Hey, what's going on? Welcome to day one of investment week. It's all day, every day about investments. So we're going to be talking to you about strategies, what works best for me, what worked best for the investors that I used to represent, maybe the difference between the stock market and real estate. And this is the first video. So first video is why your first property should be your first investment property. So this is a great for a first-time home buyer. Maybe you have some friends, family, kids that are looking to buy a property, and this is what you should teach them. This to me is exactly what everyone should do. It worked for me. Now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a real estate guru, own millions of properties. But at the end of the day, I'm just a normal person teaching. You know, I'm not one of these people that I have 50 million properties and I had money growing up. No, this is, look, this works. Trust me. I know what I'm doing in real estate, and the one thing I'm not going to do is teach people the wrong way to make money. I'm not going to guide somebody in the wrong direction to get content. So I'm going to teach you what works, and if you take my information and use it, awesome. If you don't, you don't. But I'm telling you, this right here is day one of the best things you should do, okay? So let's start the video. Here's how it works. You're buying a property for the first time, right? So maybe you're coming out of a rental. The only time I will ever say a rental's better than buying a property is right now. So I'm going to stop real quick and tell you this before you watch any of the other videos. If your rent is so cheap, let's say this. Let's say you're renting $500. Maybe you're renting a bedroom with your friends, or you just stepped in, you know what, and you have a $500 rental. With the most minimal amount of money down, buying a property that's really cheap, if your difference is like $1,000 between renting, keep the renting, and putting it into that mortgage, because you got to calculate your down payment, closing costs, and everything, continue the rent and take in your mindset that I will pay the difference of what I'm supposed to pay and put it in an interest-bearing stock. I would go with a higher risk, a high yield. That's me, because at the end of the day, you will be paying that much, and it will take numerous years to pay down principal. And again, I don't want to confuse it because I'll go through all that this whole week. But there are situations that people should stay in their rentals. It's very rare, but I do meet people sometimes. I'm like, you should be paying the difference in an interest-bearing account. Anyways, let's chat. Okay, so let's say right now you want to buy something. This is where I would buy the first property to be my first investment property. You're looking at a $200,000 house, let's say, or a townhouse. I do like townhomes for me because at least the townhome, the maintenance is there. Some include water. There's a lot of myths like, oh, they cover the roof in this. They don't. They'll cover the roof when the roof needs to be done, especially a lot of the villas. If you see villas sometimes and there's a leak, you got to take care of it. They'll take care of the roof when it needs to be done, right? So $200,000, what you're looking to do is put the least amount of money on a down payment, right? You shouldn't be coming out with 10 or 20% down just to get it to the mortgage you want. That makes no sense. And I'm going to teach you that in another video, because I don't understand why people will put down so much more to get their mortgage payment to where they want it. It literally makes no sense, right? I understand PMI and all that, but that's not the point I'm saying. Put the least amount of money down payment. You want to find a property that you can either get your closing costs paid or rolled into it. Rolled into it means you just make it a little higher offer. It's always rolled anyway, but point is that in this market, it's going to be impossible to find. I know. I'm just saying how to find an investment property. So you find a property, $200,000. Maybe the lease is FHA 3.5%, right? So you're putting $7,000 down. Then you're getting your closing costs rolled into it. So you're not coming in with an additional $6,000. You're saving that. The whole point of your first property is the mortgage should be cheaper than the rental market. Meaning, if the rental market right now is going for like $1,500, when you do all this, your property's $1,200, right? Maybe it's $1,300, but it's cheaper than the rental market. What's good about that is, God forbid something happens and you have to rent out your house, you still can make it, no problem. Like, oh, my mortgage is cheaper than the rental. I can easily do it. I can just rent it for what my mortgage is, and everyone in the world would knock on my door, right? So this right here is a great concept to go by your first property. I did it too. That's what I did. I said, all right, my first property, this is what it has to be. And what happens is, this is where things get crazy. You're going to have homestead on it. You're going to be living there for a little while, right? You put the least amount of down payment, because remember, investment properties is 15 to 20% down. So this, even though it's your first investment property, you're putting the least amount of money down. Your property will grow in value. It'll grow in equity as the time goes on. Because if you look at, let's look at Summerfield, for instance. How many people bought their first house in Summerfield for like 90,000 to 120,000, right? Oh, that market's not there anymore. It doesn't matter. When we were buying houses for 120,000, people never thought it would go up. I remember houses were coming on the market for 150, and everyone was like, "You're crazy. That'll never sell. Never 150. Oh, that's so ill." If you can't even find a house for 190 right now, right? So the point is that at that point, people thought the properties were high. People who bought those properties, their mortgage is like $900. So what happens is their mortgage isn't going up, but the rental market skyrocketed, right? So think about all the people that bought their first property. I don't care what condition it is, it doesn't matter. They bought their first property. They had this dirt cheap mortgage compared to where the market went. At Summerfield in 2014, you can rent a house for $1,100. Those days are long and gone. So the mortgage doesn't go up, right? Now, granted, again, I'll teach you another time, once you turn your property into investment property, your homestead leaves it and goes with you, so blah, 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 but don't worry about that. Now, your $900 mortgage payment and the rental market's $1,500, $1,600, look at that. Look at that rent roll you're getting, right? So the other thing is always the 1% rule. I'll teach you that another day. 1% rule is, some people use that. Some people use five times rent roll and all that. I'm going to go over all this crazy stuff. So I want you, this is the first video, to comment what you want to learn. Maybe you can comment of strategies that you use, because I want people to watch these videos and say, oh, I never thought of that, or I do it this way. And because this isn't about my way is the best way in any way, shape, or form. This is my way worked for me, and my way worked for investors. And I'm going to teach you things that no one has probably told you before. I'm going to teach you slick ways to be like, holy moly, I never thought about getting a house like that. I'll teach you how I got my first house. So video one, your first property should be your investment property. I don't like when people buy homes and then have to turn around and sell that house to buy another property. You shouldn't do that. Now, a lot of people believe in buying the house, pulling the equity out, buying the other house. I don't. That's me. I don't like touching any equity in any of the houses. Now, there is like, hey, the market goes up, pull a little bit of equity out, so if the market comes back down, you gain some money from it. If you're going to keep it for another 20, 30 years, true. If I'm getting another video, right? I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm trying to get you like excited to watch these videos, right? 200,000, the least amount of down payment by far. Who cares what the property looks like? You want the crappiest house in the best neighborhood anyway. Closing costs, get them rolled in, get them. It doesn't matter. However you have to do it. Your mortgage should be cheaper than the rental market. If your mortgage is $1,500 and all the rent's going for $1,100, hello. If you need to put 20% down to get it there, that doesn't make any sense. In an investment property, it's different. I'm talking about your first house, right? So a lot of people call me up all the time. Well, you know, I want to start investing. I'm like, cool. I'm like, you're renting right now, yeah. So buy something, and that's your first investment property. And you know, perfect example. You're young, and you have friends. Buy a house and rent some of that rooms out to your friends. We have a first-time buyer, not gonna say his name, smarty, bought a house, did what I told him, rented all the rooms out to his friends. He pays nothing on his mortgage. He left, bought another property like a year and a half later. That's crazy smart. Good for him. Young kid, he's got the rooms rented out, whatever. The point is, there's so much money to be made. You just gotta either strategize, and listen, and also think outside the box. Are you looking to buy properties to hold for a portfolio for a retirement? Are we talking strategies to buy and flip? Are we talking about assignability where you can buy a property? I'm going to teach you guys all that. So it depends what you're looking to do. And I'm going to tell you this now. What's driving me crazy is all of a sudden on the social media platform, everyone's a professional. There's realtors that are like, I'm a professional in the stock market now. It's unreal. Stay in your zone and teach what you know and stop teaching everyone. That's why I'm telling you what works for me. I'm not a professional. Buy your first house. Lease down payment. Get your closing costs rolled in. Your mortgage should be cheaper. That's what you want to do. The market's a little tough right now. You might want to wait it out. Maybe you want to stretch out to little areas, different areas, and start building your equity and building your retirement fund, tax write-offs, and everything else. This is the first video. I want to know what you guys have questions about and what you want to learn so I can teach you everything. So if you have any questions, let me know. Hope to see you all week. Tons of videos. Investment 101. Talk to you soon.